Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. Really excited today. We're highlighting some awesome new Lego train related instruction books that I picked up on Amazon. You may recall a little while ago on the channel, we featured a Brick Build Your Own Train Pickle Car instruction set by MP Lines. Really impressed with the work that he does. Follow him on social media and was really excited about picking up this instruction set. Still haven't built this yet, hoping it's going to come together in the next month or so as we finish up the vinegar factory. I think this will be a great car to go with that. But I was looking around on Amazon and decided to take the plunge and pick up several of their other instruction sets that they offer. Really excited about these ones, and let's take a closer look at each of them and talk through some of the things that caught my eye and what I'm hoping to do with these different train cars. So starting out here, we'll take a look at the Brick Build Your Own Train Swiss rolling stock. This particular instruction set appealed to me from a multitude of angles, really. Love the fact that there's instructions for 6 different train cars contained within this instruction book. Love the fact that these train cars are designed to specifically match up with a Lego crocodile locomotive, of which we've got one currently active and around our layout here in the Lego room. But we've actually got the parts and instructions for a second one that I'm hoping to build soon as well. So, these will be a great match with those two locomotives. Really happy about it from that perspective. But also, I'm just a big fan of interesting and different looking train cars and locomotives from around the world. And, while all 6 of these look particularly nice, I think that, these two here on the bottom, we have a log car, and not entirely sure what that one is. It looks like there's barrels on there. Really love the interesting look of those train cars, and they should definitely be great eye-catching additions to our collection, in addition to going really well with those crocodile locomotives. And taking a look at the back of the instruction book here, you can see a little bit about the author, but also love that it highlights here, 6 vintage inspired train cars that you can build from this. These instruction books contain parts lists for each of the builds that they include. So, really handy to be able to go down that list and enter everything into Bricklink that you need to pick up for building these cool train cars. And, I love the different view of the brick built cars here. Nice to see them in a sort of single file, actual sort of train scenario. So, really love the content of this particular instruction book. And it's worth noting, the instructions super clear, easy to follow. Like I said, each one of these books contains a parts list at the end where everything's denoted quite clearly that you need to, so you know what you need to pick up from Bricklink. So all in all, really happy with this particular instruction set, and looking forward to putting these together and getting them paired up with the crocodile locomotive that we currently have and the other crocodile locomotive that hopefully we'll have built and active on the layout soon. So really happy with this instruction set. Next up, we've got the Brick Build Your Own Train. I'm going to not pronounce this very well, but Schnabel Caboose. Now, I'm a big fan of Caboose models in general. Definitely want to get a number of different Lego Caboose builds put together and added to our layout. I think there'll be really cool additions here, and they're definitely something that I look back and have fond memories of growing up and seeing them on the different rail lines, and it's unfortunate not to see them as much or really at all today with trains. So this was another cool type of caboose model that really appealed to me and I think should be a lot of fun to build. Before we flip over to the back of this particular one, definitely worth noting that all of these train cars and the locomotive, they're all designed to run on standard Lego track using only Lego parts, which I really appreciate. I've got a lot of different instruction sets, a lot of different models. It's nice to be able to build some very distinct and sort of interesting models that make use of some custom parts out in the community. But it is nice to have some builds that you can go to where it's like, don't need to get anything different or sort of custom. It's just a matter of getting all of the parts together. So really think this should be an interesting one to build and a great addition to the collection. Look on the back here, used to assist Schnabel cars hauling hazardous cargo. It says that the parts list is for 564 pieces. Not too bad considering the cool details across this caboose. So, another really cool model that should be a lot of fun to build and put together. Also worth noting, I believe all of these instruction sets, you can pick up digital versions of them from Amazon as well. I, generally tend to go towards the printed copies of things when I can. I just prefer to have, it's easier to keep track of, you never sort of are at risk of losing the files. And I find it easier to build referencing a hard copy of instructions wherever possible versus having to have an electronic device around to refer to when building. So I really like, the hard copy format like this, but it's nice that they offer things in both forms for people, depending on what their preference is for building models. Now, continuing the theme of caboose models, this brick build your own train work caboose. Really love the idea that this is a caboose that you could build and add to a train, but it also really appeals to me from its very visually distinct appearance. Really love the look of this. I think it'll be great having it as a static model in a yard, but also cool to add to a train and have it moving around the layout. I think the roof looks really good, and I love the fact that we've got sort of different heights across the car depending on where you are on the car surface there. So really loved the look of this. I think a great addition as well, and kind of adds to our collection of caboose models with something that's different and distinct from what we've been building before. On the back here, talks about, parts list, 552 pieces, and yeah, nothing too interesting there other than that, all of these models are using exclusively Lego parts, like I mentioned, which is really nice, makes things a little easier to track down and, get everything that you need for building the model. And like I said, the instructions for these models is laid out in a really nice way as well, which is what you would expect when you're building Lego. It's nice to have things in a consistent format and similar to what people are used to for assembling regular Lego builds. Now, before we take a look at the locomotive instructions, next up we've got the brick build your own train Slag Car. Now, this is definitely in the category of more obscure train car builds, which really appeals to me. I'm a big Lego train fan and railroad fan, and I like to build things kind of across the spectrum, and it's cool to find builds like this that are very visually distinct and, sort of different from what you see in sort of standard trains and Lego trains in general. Really think they've done an excellent job of laying out this train car with the middle, I don't even know the proper term for it, but the slag container in the middle of the car there. Love that everything's on gears here on both sides. Should be, seems like it will be a relatively simple build, but also a really cool and distinct build to have around our layout. And, another one that'll look really cool even on sidings, but also as a part of a train. So really looking forward to getting this one built and in place here on the layout. It says here on the back, an iconic site in American steel mills. These cars once carried molten metal waste and poured them into mountains of slag. And then the parts list for this one, 220 Lego pieces. So, not bad. Definitely is probably some interesting techniques in there to make this all to come together and work. But really cool to see something that is, like I said, very visually unique and different. And that's one of the things that I appreciate in general about the different train cars that MP Lines designs. Really, really cool and unique models of parts of sort of railroad history that you just don't see very often. So it's both cool from a the resulting model perspective, but also really cool from a learning about different parts of railroad history and some of these different trains that you might not otherwise have seen or heard of. So really happy with that one. And then last but not least, we have the Brick Build Your Own Train Challenger 4664. This looks like an awesome steam locomotive. We have a number of in-progress steam trains. I know people are very eager to see them built and in action, and definitely something that I want to rectify soon. Want to get some of those built, sorted out. But interested to delve into this particular locomotive as well and see how it comes together and try to add it to our collection of locomotives around the layout. I think it looks really well done. Super great shape here, both on the locomotive itself and the tender car. Really, really nicely done. And you can see how thick this particular one is. All the others sort of pale in comparison to the thickness of this one. Looking at the back here, we've got, there's parts list has 1,955 pieces. Really considerably bigger than some of the other train cars, but when you consider the size and overall look of this particular locomotive, that's not unexpected. But another one that I thought would be a great addition to the collection, and looking forward to starting to pull together the parts for that and work on building this as we continue to build out our train collection as well as our layouts here in the Lego room. So overall, super excited about these instruction sets. I think they should be awesome additions to the collection as we get around to building them, and should fill out some interesting corners of railway history and, add some very visually distinct and unique models to our collection. Really excited to build the pickle car as well as these new instruction books. I'll include a link below to the Amazon page for the author. Highly recommend checking out their instruction books. Really cool to see all the different models they have designed out, and looking forward to continuing to pick up some more of their instruction sets in the future. It's always cool, I think, to see people who are blazing a different trail and sort of going off in different directions from some of the other designers and builders in the Lego train hobby. And all of these train cars are pretty cool looking and definitely very visually distinct. So overall, really happy with what we managed to pick up here. Like I said, the designer has a ton of models available via instruction sets, either print or digital. So these are probably not the last instruction sets you will see me pick up from MP lines, but like I said, I'll include a link below to the Amazon page for the designer. Highly recommend checking that out. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.